Stamp duty changes, rental reform in England, introduction of rent control in Scotland, political uncertainty, removal of mortgage interest as tax relief for landlords, London's worst performing time for years, prices at all-time high, frozen local authority rates for 4 years. These were the headlines in 2017 when I started investing in property. As property investors, one of the questions you get asked every single time at family events, dinner tables, social gathering with friends, is this a good time to buy? Today, I want to answer that question. Is this the worst time to buy property? Does it still make sense to be a landlord, property investor, or a developer? The popular Chinese proverb says, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, but the next best time is now. If you fast forward 2025, what are the headlines now? Higher interest rates, mortgage rates remain elevated, making borrowing more expensive and reducing yields. Tighter regulation, stricter EPC rating for properties, renters reform bill, all making investing less attractive. Cost of living crisis, does that sound familiar? Higher inflation and stagnated wages, stronger competition. To fully answer that question, I need to take you back to the 1970s. In a world with economic uncertainties, rising costs, wars in different parts of the world, one asset stood the test of time, brick by brick. Since the 1970s, the UK house prices have surged. Cutting through recession, market crashes, and economic downturns, property endures. Recent data, according to Mojo Mortgages, showed that in the past 50 years, from 1974 to 2024, property prices have increased by a staggering 2,500%. House prices specifically have grown from an average of £10,000 in 1974 to what it is today, £260,000 as at 2024. Through crisis, economic downturn, property climbs quietly. Inflation erodes money, but property, it adjusts. Rents, they rise according to inflation. Property prices gradually grows and mortgages stay fixed. Income flows. By investing in property, you don't actually have to chase the hype. You just need to choose bricks and they will look after you. Year on year, the government had consistently delivered less than they promised. So demand in the past 10 years had consistently outweighed supply. One thing that drives us as investors is understanding that a big chunk of this supply actually comes from private investors who take on uninhabitable properties, land that's been lying fallow for a while, and turn them into livable spaces, hereby helping the government to plug the gap in supply. In 2012 and 2013, the government promised a 240,000 supply of homes. But guess what they delivered? 133,000, meaning there was a 44% gap in supply. In 2015 and 2017, the government also promised 240,000 new homes to be built. What was delivered? 173,000, meaning a gap of about 26%. And in 2019, the government promised to deliver 300,000 homes. But guess how many was delivered? 210,000, leaving the government with a gap of 30%. Fast forward to 2024 and 2025, the government promised to deliver 300,000 homes, but delivered 186,000, leaving yet another gap of 37%. People often complain about how UK prices are at an all-time high. One of the many problems is because we are constantly under-delivering. Demand is constantly above supply. So one of the many ways to solve this problem is building new homes, which the governments aren't building enough of. And one of the key ways to actually solve this is taking on uninhabitable properties, bringing them into supply. Guess who does this? Private investors. Back to the question, is this a good time to buy? Is this the worst time to be a property investor? And the answer is, it doesn't matter wherever you find yourself in the world. The ability to invest in property and own a piece of land affords you the opportunity to create financial freedom and build generational wealth. But for me, more importantly, we as investors make a real difference in the communities. Being able to transform those neglected, unloved, and forgotten lands and buildings into beautiful spaces that people are proud to call homes makes each project not just worthwhile, but rewarding. Back to the question, is this a good time to be a property investor? Catch you next time.